Yo, what going on, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you might be listening to this is your boy Sutton Def from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Whoops, mic muted. Was muted. Bear with me, guys. This is your boy Sutton Def from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Brains all over the place right now, guys. Admittedly, this is bad news. Bad news. So Zay Flowers has been ruled out by head coach John Harbaugh today at a presser. It has been, a couple of days since he went down with that knee last Saturday. It was just, man, it's hard for me to even find the words right now, man. Hop in the comments, man. Hop in the comments. Let me know you're here. I want to know what y'all are thinking about this as well, man, because I am just kind of, I don't want to say in shock because I kind of predicted this coming. I kind of seen it coming, right? But at the same time, this is going to really, really hurt the Ravens. It's really, really going to hurt the Ravens, man. And I'm really hoping that somebody can step up. But that's what we're here to talk about today, right? That's what we're here to talk about. If you're here in YouTube, make sure you say hello, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're on X as well, you can also sound off in the comments on X and then maybe even pop over to YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button there. But listen, guys, Zay Flowers has been ruled out by John Harbaugh. It is official. I did say earlier this morning on my live stream, I said that I feel like the designation is going to come out. I feel like the designation is going to come out sooner rather than later. I felt like it was going to come out today. It did. Zay Flowers, of course, did not practice again today. He hasn't practiced all week. And with those knee sprains, man, one of the guys in the chat earlier said the same thing. They can be very tricky. They can be very tricky. So for us to really expect him to play in this week's matchup against the Steelers, that was very far fetched to begin with, to be quite honest with you. And here we are, 2 days away from this playoff game, and we are going to be without Zay Flowers, and that does suck. But before I get into anything else, I do want to go ahead and pull up this video here with John Harbaugh kind of explaining what was going on.
Zay Flowers is not going to be able to make it to the game this week, so he'll get started again next week, and we'll move forward with the guys we have, and we're excited about the guys we have, which is everybody else. Zay Flowers is not going to be able to make it to the game this week, so he'll get started again next week, and we'll move forward with the guys we have, and we're excited about the guys we have, which is everybody else.
Yeah, so you heard it there first, folks. I mean, John Harbaugh has confirmed that Zay Flowers will not be playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is just gutting news, heartbreaking news, because this is the guy who, is super passionate about this Ravens team. Not only that, but just about the game of football in general. He loves his teammates. He loves Lamar. Lamar Jackson loves him. So it's just super duper unfortunate that he is not going to be able to go in this matchup come Saturday. I'm sure Steelers fans are rejoicing that they don't have to deal with Zay Flowers. Of course, I'm sure they hope he gets well soon, just like the rest of us. But this is bad news. So the question today that I have for everybody listening or watching right now, whichever one, is who will step up in Zay Flowers' place, right? Who's going to step up? So I have a graphic here down below, and it shows the target share for the entire 2024 season for this Ravens receiving room. And the question is again, who is going to step up without Zay Flowers on the field? If you see the graphic, go ahead and think about it. Let me know down below in the comments who is going to step up. I see my guy RJ Richard is in here. Richard says Bateman is going to step up and show him who he is. I do believe that as well. But let's just take a look at this chart really quick. So Zay Flowers commanding 27% of the targets from Lamar Jackson, averaging about 7.1 targets per game. And that leads the team, of course. Rashad Bateman follows that up with 4.8 targets a game. That's 15.1. Then you got Mark Andrews with 3.8 targets a game, and Isaiah Likely with about 3 as well. Wait, Yeah, with about 3.5 as well. So this is going to be a very, very interesting one. So we're void 7 targets of Zay Flowers. That's a lot of targets. High key. That's a lot of targets. So they're gonna have to go somewhere. I want to know where you guys think they're gonna go. Bateman might be the easy answer since he is kind of like the next man up on this list. He is going to be the wide receiver one out there against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's got a big opportunity, a huge opportunity. And this is honestly the perfect game. This could be like the culmination of his season. He's been playing so well all year long. This is probably not probably. This is the best. Excuse me. This is the best professional season of Rashad Bateman's life. Okay, the best professional season of Rashad Bateman's career, and I really think that this game could be the one where he really shows out. I'm expecting a touchdown from him. I'm expecting him to get Joey Porter Jr. on him for the majority of this game, but I'm expecting him to route him up just like he does pretty much everybody else. Rashad Bateman is a demon at creating separation. He has been all season long. Same thing with Zay Flowers, but of course, again, we're going to be without him. So I think that Lamar Jackson continues to build the trust that he has with Rashad Bateman that he's been kind of building this entire season up to this point. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Mod Roosh is in the building. What's going on? Roosh says, like the video. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You already know what it is. And he also says we need a big game from the tight ends. Now, Mark Andrews is another guy who has been absolutely balling out recently. I think 6 touchdowns in 6 straight games. Well, 6 straight games with a touchdown. That is incredible, especially considering where he came from earlier this season. Had the car accident right before the season. He also, of course, as we all know, is a diabetic as well. I feel like he was struggling a lot early on this season, trying to get back right to the Mandrews that we know and love. And boy, did he ever! He leads the league in tight end touchdowns. So, and he also leads he also is the franchise leader in Ravens history for touchdown. So that could be a guy for me. Again, I'm looking at. And see, now that I'm thinking about it, the tight ends probably will get the most run. They'll probably get the most looks because in these cold weather, grinded out football games, I think that this is the perfect opportunity. Just like for Rashad Bateman, honestly, for Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews, right? And I know they're number 2 and 3 on this list here in terms of target share for this season. For those two guys, I think that they have the best opportunity to really, really put their stamp on this game. And Mark Andrews, especially, because Mark Andrews is a veteran in this league. He largely has been kind of silent and quiet in the playoffs in years past. But now that Zay Flowers, of course, Lamar Jackson's number one target, according to these stats right here. Now that Zay Flowers is out, I think that Lamar Jackson might try to target O Reliable a little bit more. Okay, so we're seeing here Mark Andrews with about 3, almost 4 targets a game. I expect for that to bump up to about 5 to 6 targets. Dare I even say maybe 7? I think that Mark Andrews might just turn back into that security blanket. I think that he might silence the doubters. He needs to silence the doubters when it comes to playoff performances. And I think he has a big game. Okay, I think he has a very big game. I know those linebackers for Pittsburgh are going to be very, very worried about Derrick Henry and what this running game is going to be able to do. Because without Zay Flowers, you can bet your bottom dollar that Derrick Henry is going to get 25 to 30 carries. You can bet that. Okay. Um, so in that case, I think that the middle of the field is going to be fairly open. And dare I say, Mark Andrews crossers and things like that. That's the favorite route that Lamar Jackson likes to hit Mark Andrews on. He's going to run a lot of those. Okay. And I know Todd Monken is really like getting in his bag right now and trying to figure out ways to scheme open guys like Mark Andrews, guys with sure hands, right? Who can run after the catch, and who can catch touchdowns, right? Who's a red zone threat. And that's exactly what Mark Andrews is. So if I had to guess, I was going to lean Rashad Bateman. But I think this is a game where, again, it's going to be cold outside. It's going to be one of those gritty, grinded out games. Lamar Jackson's going to go to his old reliable, which is Mark Andrews. So, Mark Andrews, I need you to bring your hands with you. No tip balls, you know what I mean, that turn into interceptions. That's happened a couple of times in his career. So yeah, I agree with you there, Mod Roosh. I'm thinking the tight ends are gonna have a big step up in this game. Let me see. We got Justin in the house. What's going on, Justin? Justin says, send up that bat signal. again, yeah, I mean, I just said I think Mark Andrews is going to be the guy, but Rashad Bateman is making a strong case as well. You guys see the numbers there. Rashad Bateman is the second leader in this receiving group in terms of targets. The second leader. I mean, now he leads it because Zay Flowers again is not going to play. So I don't know, man. It's really hard to call. I can't wait to talk to Alex about this later on the show. We might even have a guest on tonight on the show. Again, stay tuned for that. Not sure yet. Maybe, maybe not. But it's going to be very, very interesting to see who gets who gets more targets. Is it going to be Rashad Bateman or is it going to be Mark Andrews? I think that that's a if I was a betting man, I would probably go Rashad Bateman, who's going to get. It's so tough again, man, between Bateman and Mark Andrews. Because here's the thing: with Zay Flowers, they scheme up and design a lot of plays to go specifically to Zay Flowers. Hold on, let me plug up my MacBook here. I forgot to plug it up. There we go. So they scheme up a lot of plays for guys like Zay Flowers. They don't necessarily do the same for guys like Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews. Like those guys, you just kind of have to get open. And if Lamar finds you, then he will get the ball to you. Now, here's the case that you can make for Rashad Bateman. As Justin says, throw up the bat signal. Rashad Bateman, again, he is a separation demon. He's been so this season, last season as well. I think that he could probably get open a little bit quicker than a Mark Andrews can. And in that case, I can see Lamar Jackson pulling the trigger and getting the ball to him as quick as possible. So I'd say on like a lot of in breaking routes, slants, things like that, over the middle, Rashad Bateman will probably feast in this one. He will feast. But again, man, that's the beauty of this Ravens offense. They still have weapons. Zay Flowers is down for this game, but they still have a litany of weapons that they can go to. I haven't even talked about Isaiah Likely yet, who I think could have a sneaky 3 catches. Dare I even say 4? You know, I'll probably stick with around 3 catches. For Isaiah Likely, but you never know his impact. He can catch the ball, and the yards after the catch that Isaiah Likely gets, he is literally a wide receiver trapped in a tight end's body. That's what Isaiah Likely is, and I expect to see more of that this coming week when we take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tev Dog says, hit the like. That's right, Tev. That's right, Tev. Hit that like button if you're watching over on YouTube. I'd appreciate that. If you're watching on X, again, follow me on X. Maybe follow us on YouTube as well at the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. About 50 people watching live right now. Thank y'all so much for coming through. Kamal Porter says, turn on the bat signal. Yeah, guys, tell me. Let me know who you think is going to step up without Zay. A lot of you guys are saying Bateman. Tev says they might bracket Andrews. Mandrews, yeah, this makes it a lot easier, right, for the Pittsburgh Steelers game plan. I know Mike Tomlin, I'm sure he doesn't wish for anybody to get hurt, but I'm sure he's breathing a sigh of relief right now. Like, oh, okay. Okay. No Zay Flowers. We don't got to worry about these screens. We don't got to worry about, him getting shifty all over the place, breaking open the defense, things like that. We just got to lock in, be physical on Bateman. That's going to be the game plan. Joey Porter Jr., be physical, get hands on Rashad Bateman. They probably think Rashad Bateman's a pretty boy, right? Do not let him get free releases. Put hands on him off the line of scrimmage. It's going to be cold. It's going to be tough to fight through that contact. That's why I was also trying to lean towards the tight ends. They bracket the tight ends. Here's something. I think that with Zay Flowers being down, right? Don't be surprised if we see a lot more involvement from running backs in the passing game. Justice Hill is coming back. He's been looking good in practice, right? He looks full speed ahead to go for the Saturday game against the Steelers. Don't be surprised if you see a lot of Justice Hill being worked into this offense. Even Derrick Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry has been reliable as a pass catching back as well. Justice Hill is just a little bit more unpredictable when he's on the field. So, and plus he's just a dude, right? The guy makes plays. I'm so sad that he got, that concussion a couple of weeks ago and he wasn't able to play the past few weeks, but he's back now. And I think he's going to be an integral part of this Ravens offense this coming Saturday, especially with Zay Flowers being out. Again, these are 7 targets, guys. Guys, these are 7 targets that we are going to be without, that Lamar Jackson is going to be without. So they got to go somewhere. And 7 targets is 7 plays, right? In an NFL playoff game, that is a very, very large amount of plays. I've said it before. Every quarter, okay, every possession, every down matters in these playoff games. Everything is so condensed, everything is so tightly packed, and we're playing a divisional opponent. So I mean, this 7 targets might as well be 10 targets. I mean, honestly, if you guys get my logic there. Steve-O says we are too predictable. Leave Derrick Henry on the field on second and third downs. This was interesting as well. I was listening to surprise, surprise. Rich Eisen was talking to Dan Orlovsky on his podcast, and Dan Orlovsky was saying that he talked to Todd Monken, and Todd Monken said one of the biggest keys to victory for the Ravens, just in general throughout the playoffs and everything like that, is going to be to stay ahead of the chains, right? Stay ahead of down and distance. Like you don't want to be in a whole lot of second and longs, third and longs, things like that. You want to get like second and 2, 3 after a good first down run. And when you get a good run on first down, let's say from Derrick Henry, right? It allows them. This is Todd Monken's words. It allows them to keep Derrick Henry on the field for second down. Because a big part of the Steelers' game plan is going to be to sell out to stop Derrick Henry on first down runs. So do not be surprised if to start the game, you see a Lamar keep automatically. As a matter of fact, I will bet my bottom dollar right here, right now. The first drive of the game, dare I even say the first play, you're going to see Derrick Henry in the pistol formation. Lamar Jackson's going to fake it to him. He's going to keep it. He's going to run around the edge. I guarantee you, just to set the tone, like, hey, you cannot forget about Lamar Jackson. We know Derrick Henry is in our backfield right now. We know it's cold outside. We know that y'all know that we are going to try to ram Derrick Henry at your defensive line repeatedly over and over again. But on this first play, we're going to remind you to stay honest because we have Lamar Jackson. And yes, our passing game took a hit with no Zay Flowers. So I need you to focus heavily on this run game first and foremost, whether that be Lamar Jackson, whether that be Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, whoever you want to put out there. They're going to make the Steelers play honest football early in this game. I promise you. I promise you. Yeah, I mean, Steve says we're too predictable. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Leave Derrick Henry on the field on second and third downs. I can agree with that too. You know, a lot of the looks that we get into on second and long do not involve, or third and long do not involve Derrick Henry. You'll see Justice Hill out there on the field, and that's where defenses they can kind of exhale and say, okay, well at least we know. Excuse me. At least we know Derrick Henry is not getting the football on this play because he's not on the field, right? But keep him out there just to keep your offense multiple enough. And you never know what that can do for the passing game. Linebackers going to be cheating in the backfield, making sure that Lamar Jackson's not getting off, making sure that Derrick Henry's not getting off either. So Todd Monken has got his work cut out for him. Things just got a little bit trickier for Todd Monken. But like I said again, I'm gonna double down on this. I do think first Ravens offensive drive of that game. And if you remember this, come back and subscribe to the channel for me calling this because I just know this team, right? I think you're going to see a fake to Derrick Henry and QB keep early on in this one, just to remind the Steelers how honest they have to stay when defending our run game, and then you'll see passing concepts. Let me see. Justice Hill will be huge for pass protection. Agreed there. Offensive line has also got to step up, man. I mean, you're down a receiver. You're down one of those receivers who you could just get the ball to very quickly, no matter what the offensive line is doing. Now that you don't have that guy, I don't think that they necessarily give those type of plays to Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, Tylan Wallace, guys like that. Um, so with that being said, offensive line is going to have to step up because some of these routes that Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews are going to run, they're going to be a little bit longer developing. I think Mark Andrews more so than Rashad Bateman, but even still, this is going to be a big test from everybody. This is a domino effect, honestly. Zay Flowers being out, it affects the offensive line, right? It affects Lamar Jackson. It affects Todd Monken's game plan. It affects Coach Tomlin's game plan. You know, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that this is impacting right now. And it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. Um, Let me see. Thea Pennell Fourth says, never bet on bait. Man, I can't say that, man. I can't say that. Let me see. E Money says, title of the live stream just hurt me. Thanks for delivering the bad news. I don't mean to deliver the bad news, but that is, that's kind of my job here. It's kind of my job here. Let me see. Team Ramey says likely for 5 for 75 and a touchdown. I mean, I would love that. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Somebody's going to have to step up and have a big game. Last week I said it, Rashad Bateman had a good volume game. He had 5 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown. I expect him to I expect another 5 catches out of Rashad Bateman. I do, especially with Zay being down. I expect another 5 catches out of Rashad Bateman minimum. Um, I think that he gets the most targets that he's seen probably this season so far, if I'm being honest with you. And of course, like I said, Mark Andrews is going to get an uptick in targets as well. Rouge says, Sutton, are we getting a Sutton safe parlay? Yeah, I will make one. I haven't made one in a while because, as you guys know, I moved down to Houston, Texas, where sports gambling is not allowed, right? So I've not been on FanDuel, ESPN Bet, DraftKings, none of that stuff. But I'll throw something together. I'll take a look at the lines. I'll have Alex tell me what the lines are, and we'll probably come up with something together. To be honest with you, we might do that tonight on the show. Thanks for reminding me, Roosh. We should probably do that tonight on the show. So make sure, again, if you are not a subscriber to the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe because tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Simply AS10 and myself will be live, potentially with another guest as well, and we'll be fully breaking down the Steelers versus Ravens matchup. We're going to get Alex's take on the whole Zay Flowers situation, what he thinks is going to happen because of that, and everything like that. Let me see what else you guys are going crazy in the chat right now. Running backs have to eat, says Killer Cam. Again, man, I'm looking at 25, 30 carries for Derrick Henry. They're going to force the Steelers defense to stop Derrick Henry. And this also means, right, it's going to be all that more important to jump out to a lead on this team, right? And I think that's another reason why we will see a Lamar Jackson keeper in the very, very beginning of this game. I think that's a big reason why. 1st and 10, you know, everybody expects Derrick Henry to get the football. Lamar's going to keep it, run around the edge, try to get a head start on that first drive. If we don't get points on our first offensive drive, this might be a sticky one. I'm just saying. Let me see. G says, what's going on? G says, I hate that the media is building us up. So if we lose, it can try to talk mad shit. Let us play the damn game. Hey man, I mean that just comes with the territory, man. Media narratives are always going to be there. Killer Cam says he agrees with Tev. Says Steelers will bracket Mark Andrews and put their best corner on Rashad Bateman. So I mean, if that is the plan, which is a very practical plan to defend this Ravens offense, especially devoid of Zay Flowers, then hey, somebody else is going to have to step up. And I can definitely see a lot more play action because of that. And I mean, the play action has been working well all season long. I don't think today will be any different. Again, man, I think play action when Lamar Jackson rolls out, Lamar's going to have to use his legs a little bit more this game. And it's playoff time. It's playoff time. So it is time for him to use his legs if he has to. There is no more holding back, nothing like that. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, it's playoff time. So again, Cam, if that is the plan for the Steelers, which again, I think is a good plan for them, somebody else is going to have to step up. And that somebody is going to be Lamar Jackson. It's going to be Derrick Henry, who I think is, man, I can totally see Derrick Henry going off in this game. I really can. I said it earlier this week. I still can see it. I can still see it. Let me see. Theo Pennell says, no more Mandrews tush push, please. I mean, for what it's worth, I think Mark Andrews did convert that tush push the other day on Saturday. I think it was a very bad spot that the refs called, and it is what it is. But I agree with you there. I'm not a big fan of Mark Andrews tush pushing either, to be honest. What else y'all saying in here? Balti Raven, what's going on? Balti Raven says, "What's up, Sutton? What's going on, Balti Raven? Appreciate you for coming through." Uh, Killer Cam says he needs 25 to 30, and get Keaton Mitchell in space. Yeah, man. Keaton Mitchell is a guy who's been building confidence slowly but surely over these past couple of games since he's been back and kind of active in different spots, right? Keaton Mitchell is a guy who, yes, I would love to see on some of those screens, right? I would love to see on a toss play, get him in space, get him on the outside, get him on the edge, and let that guy run by guys, you know? Especially when that defense gets tired. Keaton Mitchell, of course, is not going to be the workhorse in this game, but he's going to be the perfect. And when I say the perfect, I mean the perfect change of pace back. Beat these guys up with Derrick Henry for a couple of quarters. You know, third quarter, third quarter rolls around. Put Keaton Mitchell in there on a 1st and 10. Give it to him on a toss or something like that, or maybe even a halfback screen, and just let him go. Let him go behind that convoy and let him run by guys. Let him run by that tired secondary by the third quarter, like late third quarter. I don't know. Just saying. Todd Monken, you got your work cut out for you, buddy. You really do. Let me see. Steve-O, again, bringing up a good point here. In our first game, they completely sold out to stop first down runs. Derrick Henry averaged 2.5 yards per carry. This resulted in us not sustaining drives and losing time of possession. So you see what I'm saying here? You see what I'm saying here, Steve-O? Todd Monken, John Harbaugh, everybody in that Ravens building is probably sitting down at a round table right now trying to figure the hell out, what are we going to do? You know, when it comes to Derrick Henry, like you said here, the Steelers are going to sell out completely to stop that first down run. You know, do I also think that they're going to have somebody allocated on the edge to read Lamar Jackson? Sure, sure. But at the same time, though, I still think, I mean, with this Ravens team, they don't really care if you know what they're going to do. They're just going to dare you to stop it, right? They're just going to dare you to stop it. And now that you have kind of like that two-headed monster with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the backfield at that mesh point, again, do not be surprised if on 1st and 10 on the Ravens' first offensive possession, there's a fake to Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson pulls it and keeps it and runs for a first down or however many yards, right? I'm calling that right now, man. I wish I could bet on that alone. I would. I would. I'd bet a lot on that. Especially considering what Steve-O is saying here. I mean, they're going to sell out to stop Derrick Henry. I mean, Mike Tomlin right now is probably preaching to his guys, hey, we got to show up to work on Saturday, right? You have to want to tackle Derrick Henry, right? That is going to be the message conveyed from Mike Tomlin to his defensive line, to his linebackers, to his secondary. You have to want to. You got to have the want to want to tackle Derrick Henry. And since that's the mentality, if they over preach that, I can totally see Todd Monken taking advantage and saying, okay, we're going to fake it to Henry on this first play, give it to Lamar. Then after that, you're on your heels. Now we're going to give it to Derrick Henry. Now we're going to throw it to Mark Andrews over the middle. And now you don't know what to do, right? Can't be predictable early. Cannot be predictable early, because if you're predictable early, with a team like the Steelers, a divisional opponent, they're going to be able to kind of guess what you're doing. They're going to be a step ahead. Don't let them get a step ahead on us. Killer Cam says if the refs swallow the whistle, it will be a hard game for Rashad. Again, I mean, I think this is true as well. This is another fabulous point. Another fabulous point from Killer Cam. I just said a couple of minutes ago, Rashad Bateman, they're going to try to they're going to try to body him up. They're going to try to out physical Rashad Bateman and just really beat him up. So again, like he said, if the refs don't swallow their whistle, it's going to be a tough one for Rashad Bateman. But that's where I'm looking at guys like Isaiah Likely. I expect us to run a whole lot of 2 tight end sets, heavy packages, of course, just naturally since we love to run the ball so much. But Isaiah Likely, he's going to be a guy who is what I think is going to step up. I said what I say earlier, 3 catches, maybe 4 catches. And what he does with those, we never know because he's really good after the catch. Let me see. What else y'all are saying? Balti Raven says, smash that like button. Exactly, man. Smash that like button. Got about 63 people watching live right now. Thank y'all so much for joining this episode of the show. I see Seven Scott. What's going on, Seven Scott? Says Bateman 4 for 80. Okay. I like. Let me see what else y'all are saying. Somebody. Jay and Jack says Isaiah Likely is going to step up. He's been silent all season. He will not be a spotlight target for defense. So look for him to run vertical down the field like last season. I love that as well, man. Bracketing Mark Andrews, trying to man up on Rashad Bateman and really just kind of out physical him, just be tougher than him and body him. That's going to leave opportunities open for Isaiah Likely again. So taking a look, at who's gonna step up without Zay Flowers being in the game. Like you guys see, Zay Flowers commands 27%. That's over a quarter of the targets. That's a quarter of the targets of Lamar Jackson that has to go somewhere else. This is fascinating. This is fascinating to me. Tez gets a tutty on his last reception. I don't know about that one, man. I don't think that this is the game to really be experimenting, a whole lot with Tez Walker. Do I think he gets in the game, gets some snaps here and there? Yes, I do. But red zone throws are going to either Rashad Bateman, and I'm telling you this, Rashad Bateman is not going to get easy, wide open red zone touchdowns this game. He's going to have to make a contested catch for a touchdown. It just is what it is. And like Killer Cam says, if they swallow the whistle, it's going to be even tougher for him to do that. Going to be even tougher. Let me see. You guys are saying Tylan Wallace is not it. Tylan Wallace, he's good. He's just not a receiver that you can rely on to break open a game at all. I mean, he's got very, very good hands. I'll say that. I think he's probably only dropped one pass this entire season. But again, man, I don't think that the Ravens are going to be, and I don't think Lamar Jackson is necessarily going to be looking to him for big help in this one. All right, let me see. Scroll down a little bit here in the chat. You guys are going crazy in the chat. Let me see. Spencer, what's going on? Spencer is in the house. Says y'all are too negative. Ravens by 10 plus. Flowers is a beast, but Ravens are the better team. We have too much fear of the Steelers. Maybe it's just me. No, man. I mean, I get what you're saying here. The Ravens are more talented. They have the more recent head-to-head victory. So I don't think that the monkey on their back of, oh, you can't beat the Steelers is still looming over them. But again, man, this is a divisional rivalry. So you can throw records out the window, you can throw rosters out the window, talent out the window, everything. These two teams know each other so well. Like I said, it's going to be a game of chess, you know. And if you're missing your rook, or if you're missing your queen or your knight or whatever in chess, if you're missing a piece, right, that puts you at a disadvantage just naturally, especially when you're missing one of your best pieces, Spencer. So I think that there is some cause for concern. I mean, I was a little bit concerned about this game even before Zay Flowers went down with the I word or was announced that he was out because, again, you can never count out the Steelers. You can never count out the Steelers against the Ravens. You can't count out the Bengals against the Ravens. You can't count out the Browns against the Ravens. You just can't. So I think there is some cause for pause here, but I do still think that the Ravens can pull this one out. I do. Hillback 2 is going to get some explosions. I agree there. Imani in the house says Isaiah likely is going to step up. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm hoping that he is a guy. We're gonna need the yards after the catch from Isaiah Likely more than ever, in this one because I think he's only probably gonna get maybe like three targets. Three targets. Again, this is gonna be a heavy running game. It's gonna be cold outside. It's an AFC North matchup, a rivalry. They know what we want to do. We know what they want to do. They're going to try to run the ball on us with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. They know damn sure we're going to run the ball on them with Derrick Henry, and Justice Hill, and Lamar Jackson, and Keaton Mitchell, for that matter. So it's only one football to go around, but that's why I'm saying Isaiah likely has to maximize his opportunities when he does get the football. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well if you're watching on YouTube. If you're new here, again, my name is Sutton Def. This is the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Me and my co-host Simply AS10, we go live every Monday and Thursday. So yes, we will be live today, Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, to talk about this whole Zay Flowers, debacle and the Ravens versus Steelers matchup in depth. We will also be giving our full Super Wild Card playoff predictions. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check in with us a little bit later on today. Run game is still king, says Trey Biz. And this is what I'm saying, man. This is what I'm saying. I mean, Zay Flowers being out is definitely terrible news. We hate to see that. But again, this is going to be, the emphasis is going to be even more on the run game. Man, this game is going to come down to coaching. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Trey Biz also says Owe will be motivated. Don't be surprised if he wrecks this game for Pittsburgh. Hey, man, I hope so. I really do hope so. Let me see. Spencer says, my only argument to that is this. Then we weren't who we thought we were. This is a Super Bowl or bust team. A team destined for such doesn't lose to the Steelers. That's my attitude. And I get it. I get it. It's a very stoic attitude to have. You can control what you can control. Zay Flowers isn't going to play, but at the end of the day, we're still a damn good football team. I get that for sure. But we've seen in years past, right? Even just last year, a lot of people were picking the Ravens to go and win the Super Bowl last year. We got very close. And we lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know that the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't on the same caliber in terms of you know, talent and just kind of like winning ability, I guess you could say. But again, man, I think that a huge factor of this is just the rivalry, man. It's the rivalry. I could see if we were down Zay Flowers and we were getting ready to go play the Chargers or the Texans or the Broncos or hell, even the Bills or somebody like that. I think I would honestly have a little bit more confidence, right? Maybe not the Bills. Maybe not the Bills. They've got a superstar at quarterback too. But any of those other teams, I would probably feel confident, more confident than playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though they're on a 4-game loss streak, even though they haven't put up 20 points in over a month. You just can never count this team out, man. You can't count them out. Not saying I'm scared, right? Not saying I'm scared, but I think there's definitely some cause for concern. That's all I'm saying, Spencer. That's all I'm saying. Appreciate you for the discourse here today. Let me see. All right. Balti Raven says it's going to be a night game and cold. Maybe snow will be a factor. I heard it's not necessarily supposed to snow, but of course it's going to be very cold. It's going to be damn cold, like 20 something degrees or something like that. As a matter of fact, let me check my weather app right now for what it's going to be in Baltimore at that time. Because earlier this week I checked, it said it was going to be about 20 degrees or so around the time that the game was going on. So let's see. It should be a little bit more updated by now. Saturday, it does say snow in Baltimore Saturday. Let me see here. So the game is going to be at about 8 o'clock. Snow's like going to be in the morning time, early afternoon. But by the time the game kicks off, it's going to be around 26 to 28 degrees. It looks like. So it's going to be below freezing. It's going to be below freezing, which is why I said earlier this week, I put it in a tweet as well. You can follow me at Sutton Def on Twitter or Instagram for that matter. 70 people watching live, by the way. Hello. Thank y'all for joining. I said it earlier this week. Yes, it's going to be damn cold outside. It's going to be very cold outside. So I think that's all the more reason on top of the fact that there's no Zay Flowers to run Derrick Henry 25 to 30 times and literally make the Steelers defenders tackle him until their limbs do not agree with their will to do so. Right. I've said it before. If you've ever played tackle football, especially in the cold, it is very, very hard to hit somebody full speed and try to bring them down, try to tackle them in the cold like that, especially below freezing temperatures. It's not easy to do, especially not repeatedly, which is why I said Mike Tomlin is preaching all week. You gotta bring your want to, right? You gotta want to tackle Derrick Henry. I think that Todd Monken and John Harbaugh and this Ravens offense, they are going to make the Steelers tackle Derrick Henry. But again, first play of the game, and I'm gonna keep saying this. I'm gonna keep saying this, guys. First play of the game, I can totally see Lamar Jackson faking it to Derrick Henry, taking it on the edge. I just know this team, and take it to the bank. Take it to the bank. I cannot wait until that happens so I can come on. I can immediately jump on live and say I told you so. um, Let me see. Truly Cloud, what's going on, Truly Cloud? Appreciate you for coming through. Make sure you guys like the video. Like the video again. Subscribe if you're new. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Again, this is the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Truly Cloud says, the thing that concerns me is it's a divisional game, and these games are usually close. In my opinion, it's going to determine Justin Tucker for the game-winning field goal. Ooh, man, that would be something, right? Because I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be a little windy outside too. I see Killer Cam in the chat says Chris Boswell worries him too. I hope this game doesn't come down to that. I hope it doesn't come down to a Justin Tucker field goal for the win. If that's the case, we did not play well. We did not play well. If it comes down to that, that means that Derrick Henry probably has less than 100 yards rushing. Lamar Jackson is probably struggling. We're getting out coached, and we're just kind of staying afloat, keeping our head above water, which would be scary for all 4 quarters of that game. So I hope you're wrong there, Truly Clout, to be honest with you. I hope it doesn't come down to a Tucker field goal. But yeah. um, Trey Biz says we have to obviously game plan for George Pickens, but their big play threat is Calvin Austin the third. Steven scares me in that secondary still. I agree. I agree. But you know what? I find solace in the fact that Kyle Hamilton is back there. I know that quarterbacks think twice when throwing down the field when they see 14 lined up as a deep safety, right? It was a little bit easier, a lot of bit easier, as a matter of fact, earlier in the season when we had guys like Marcus Williams and Eddie Jackson back there, we're just getting absolutely toasted, right? Getting absolutely toasted. And, you know, you got Jamar Chase going off for 2, 3 touchdowns and 200 yards in a game, and doing that like twice to us. A couple other receivers went crazy on us as well. But ever since week 10 and we switched Kyle Hamilton back to that deep safety, our defense has been absolutely stout. And I'm not talking about the punter. It's been absolutely stout, man. And Calvin Austin the third, a solid deep threat in his third season in the NFL, I want to say. But I think that Kyle Hamilton kind of takes that away. On top of the fact that it's going to be windy, so those moon balls to George Pickens, those big plays over the top, especially if we get up early, expect them to take some shots down the field. I don't think it's going to be very easy. I don't think it's going to be very easy. Russell Wilson is going to have his work cut out for him. Because guess what? He's going to have to cut the ball through that cold, frigid air. It's hard to do. It's hard to do, right? And I'm pretty sure it's going to be windy as well. That might play a factor. My guy Simply AS10 told me earlier, or the other day on the show, he was like, he's hoping that a lot of those passes that get thrown up, the wind kind of takes it. It turns into an errant throw. And you've got a guy like Kyle Hamilton back there or whoever else ready to pick it off. Turnover is going to be huge in this game. Huge. Absolutely just. And that's another thing. I know Mike Tomlin's preaching that as well. Excuse me. The Steelers have been very bad with turning the football over the past couple of weeks, and that's honestly been their demise and why they've lost so many of these games. But in this game, I know for a fact they're preaching ball security, but we need to be preaching ball security just as much, right? Because we cannot afford to waste possessions against a team that we're playing literal chess with. This is a divisional rivalry again. These are divisional opponents, right? So every quarter, every possession, emphasis on possession. You cannot give away possessions in the playoffs. Turning the football over in the playoffs is literally like taking food off of your plate and putting it directly on to your enemy's plate for them to eat. It's just simple as that, right? Um, but yeah, we're gonna have to game plan for George Pickens. Of course, we don't have not receivers, but cornerbacks travel, things like that. So he'll probably see a mixture of guys, including Brandon Stevens, to be honest with you. And that might be when the moon ball is coming. So honestly, if I'm Kyle Hamilton and it's a third and long or a second and long or something like that, or maybe it's even a 1st and 10 and the Steelers are down a possession or two, I'm shading over to Brandon Stevens' side of the field, especially if you see George Pickens running deep down the sideline. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Let me see. Slicer59, what's going on, Slicer? Says, good afternoon, young man. Good afternoon. Your channel is refreshing to listen to. Keep grinding. Yes, sir. Of course. I will absolutely do that. And I appreciate the support. I really, really do. Love everybody who watches the show, honestly. You guys are like family to me, quite literally. Love the Rain Gang. Make sure if you're watching, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Me and Alex will greatly, greatly appreciate that. And again, Alex and I will be live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to check in with us then, we will be giving our full breakdown of the Ravens versus Steelers matchup. I know I'm giving a lot of my takes right now, but Alex and I, we're going to chop it up. We're going to go back and forth on what we think as a unit as well. Team Ramey is predicting a Hamilton interception. You know what? I am too. I am too. I think Kyle Hamilton, granted, if we make a deep playoff run, I think that he's going to have a very, very good playoff run. I think he's going to have some good performances, you know. So I can see that. I can see that. Let me see. This type of game is definitely going to determine who controls the line. Yeah, I mean, who controls the line of scrimmage is going to be absolutely huge in this one. The trenches are going to be, and that's why I said earlier, offensive line has got to step up. Offensive line has got to step up, man. Defensive line, I think that look for a guy like Nnamdi Madubuike to have a big day. Look for him to have a big day. Travis Jones to have a big day. You know, um, I know I think it's the right guard who's going to be lining up over Nnamdi Madubuike. across from Namdi Madubuike. I think he's having some sort of a hand. He's got some sort of a like I don't think it's a broken hand or something like that that he's dealing with, but he's gonna play. And I'm sure Namdi Madubuike knows that. He's gonna take good advantage of that. So expect to see Namdi Madubuike in the backfield. Dare I say a sack? We'll see. We'll see. All right. Game is won or lost in the trenches. Absolutely. Spooky J in the house. What's going on, Spooky J? Spooky J says, I hope we win, but our receivers without Zay Flowers look like straight jabronis last week. I mean, not Bateman. Bateman looked good. 5 catches, 76 yards, a touchdown. I think he could replicate something like that again. Tomorrow is going to be a huge day for Rashad Bateman. A huge day. He can silence every doubter in the book with a good game tomorrow. Because again, with no Zay Flowers, they're going to put extra emphasis on him. They're going to put up press man, put a body on him, see if he can get open. And after he gets open, they're gonna have to see if he can catch the football. No drops. It's gonna be cold. Your hands are gonna be cold. It's below freezing. Your hands are probably gonna, you know how it goes when it gets cold outside. They start to freeze. I need hands. I need physicality and hands from Rashad Bateman tomorrow. And if I see that, I think that really solidifies Bateman as a legit wide receiver two, and dare I even say fringe wide receiver one option. And Steve O gives me clarification here on the Steelers right guard Mason McCormick, who's dealing with the hand or the arm I word. So yes, 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 yes. Okay. I'll end it with this one. This one's from Truly Cloud. Thank you again, Truly Cloud, for coming through. Says Ravens need to come out swinging and apply pressure. I will rather see a blowout than a close game against a divisional opponent, especially the Steelers. That usually comes down to the wire. Yeah, and you know what's funny about this one? Vegas is actually predicting this game to be not close, right? What is the line for this game? Let me try to see if I can find the line. I think it's like 8.5, 9.5, or something like that, which is insane for an divisional rivalry, especially an AFC North rivalry, especially Ravens versus Steelers, right? So yeah, Ravens are -9.5, -9.5, and the point total is set at 43.5. So I can understand the point total for sure. But Ravens -9.5 is very, very lofty. You know, it's very, very generous from Vegas. So I guess I don't know. Thank you, Vegas. But I can totally see this game being close. I can totally see it going down to the wire. I can totally see it being a one possession game. I hope not, but I can totally see it, man. I can totally see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. I didn't even expect to go this long, about 48 minutes long. Wow. And I'm gonna be on again for another hour tonight with Simply AS10 and potentially another guest, breaking down everything from the Ravens Steelers matchup and everything from the rest of the Super Wild Card weekend. So if you do want to check that out, make sure you stay tuned to this Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, right? As we will be live again, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube. I'll also be live streaming it on X as well. And I'll probably throw it up on our Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast if you want to follow us over there. Again, my name is Sutton Def. You can follow me on X or Instagram at Sutton Def, like you see right here down below. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video. Love you guys. You guys are like family to me. Salute, salute. Great stream, brother. Thank you so much, Balti Raven. Of course, as I always say, stay positive, test negative, and never ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. This is your boy Sutton Def from the Purple Rain Podcast.